What if I told you that the entire blueprint for reality, I mean its structure, its physics, its very purpose, was all encoded into the very first word of the Torah? Not as a story, but as a technical schematic. It's an ancient secret hidden in plain sight, just waiting for us to reread the code. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're diving deep into the mystical understanding of the word Bereshit to uncover a 6+1 structure that, believe it or not, underpins all of existence.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The key that unlocks this entire explainer, it comes from one of the great masters of Jewish mysticism, the 18th century Vilna Gaon. Now, he was referencing ancient texts, the Zohar, and he offers this just startling interpretation of the word Bereshit. He says, don't read it as one word, read it as two, Bereshit, which means he created six. But then he adds this crucial little phrase, alahu, upon them. So the whole thing reads, he created six, upon which everything else depends. Now, this isn't just some clever word game. This is a cosmic decryption key.
So here's our roadmap for this journey. First, we're going to crack the code in that very first word. Then we'll explore these 6 pillars themselves, like what are these fundamental forces? After that, we'll translate this ancient wisdom into a modern tech analogy that's going to make it crystal clear. And that's when we'll hit a puzzle. How do 6 separate parts become one? That leads us to unlocking a hidden level, the secret of the 7th. We'll watch as the blueprint is made whole, transforming from just parts into a living, unified system. And finally, we'll bring it all home and ask, how can we use this cosmic blueprint in our own lives?
All right, let's begin. We are officially moving past a simple translation here. We're not just reading a story about when the world was made, we're reading the actual architectural plans for how it was built. This is about the language of the Creator, the source code of existence itself. The brilliance of this whole thing is just, it's so simple. The traditional reading is Bereshit, in the beginning. But the Zohar and the Vilna Gaon tell us, just shift the space. The Hebrew letters stay exactly the same, but the meaning radically transforms into Bereshit. He created 6. The very first statement of the Torah shifts from being about time to being about structure. It's not about when it happened, but what happened, the creation of a foundational structure of 6. The question, of course, is, 6 what? And that brings us right to the heart of this teaching. These aren't just 6 random things. They are 6 fundamental divine energies, known in Kabbalah as the sefirot. I want you to think of them as the primary channels or the operating principles through which all of reality flows and functions and manifests. So let's explore them one by one and see how they build on each other. The first pillar is Chesed. This is the force of pure, unbounded expansion. It's infinite loving kindness, the raw desire to give everything, everywhere, all at once. Imagine a star just exploding outward. That's Chesed. It's the raw, benevolent energy of creation with absolutely no limits or containers. It is the primal, powerful yes.
But, pure, unbounded expansion would just be chaos. It needs a container. And that's where the second pillar, Gevura, comes in. Gevura is strength, it's discipline, it's judgment. It is the necessary counterforce that says no, the force that creates boundaries and gives structure. So if Chesed is infinite light, Gevura is the lens that focuses it, giving form to what was formless.
Now, what happens when you perfectly balance that outward force of Chesed with the inward discipline of Gevura? Well, you get Tiferet, which means beauty or harmony. And this isn't just some middle ground compromise. It's a glorious, higher synthesis that emerges from that tension. It's the principle of balance that allows for complex, beautiful, and stable systems to even exist.
So with a stable system in place, creation needs a motor, right? It needs a drive. That's netzach, which means victory or endurance. This is the driving ambition of creation to push forward, to overcome obstacles, and to endure through time. If the first 3 pillars created a state of being, netzach is the engine that propels it into a state of becoming. And just like Gevura balanced Chesed, the 5th pillar, Had, comes in to balance netzach. Had means splendor, but its inner quality is really receptivity. It's the vessel that receives that raw, forward-driving energy of netzach and gives it detailed form and expression. So if netzach is the ambition, Had is the intricate strategic plan that allows that ambition to manifest in a glorious, detailed way. And finally, we have Yesod, the foundation. Yesod is the ultimate connector. It gathers all the energies from the 5 pillars about it, the harmony of Tiferet, the drive of netzach, the detail of Had, and funnels it all into one cohesive channel. It is the final interface, preparing all this balanced, directed potential for actual manifestation right here in our world. So let's just quickly summarize this dynamic interplay. You see here, you have these polarities, active, expansive forces like Chesed and Netzach, and they're paired with receptive, form-giving forces like Gevarah and Had. Then you've got the balancing and channeling principles of Tiferet and Yesod, then integrate them. This isn't a static list, it's a living system of cosmic checks and balances.
Okay, I know this can all feel very abstract, very mystical, so let's shift gears for a minute and use a couple of modern analogies that are going to make this ancient architecture feel incredibly current and intuitive. We're going to look at it through the eyes of an engineer and a game designer.
So, look at this through two different lenses. Over on the left, we have the tech perspective. Think of reality as a cosmic computer. The 6 sefirot, they're like a multi-core processor. Each core, Chesed, Gevorah, and so on, it runs its own independent protocol to handle a specific type of task. It's a distributed system, incredibly efficient. Now, on the right, a totally different view from the world of gaming. Picture existence as this epic quest with 6 distinct worlds to master. Each world has its own rules, its own challenges, its own quests you have to complete.
Now here's a crucial point. This 6-part structure actually has a name in Kabbalah. It's called Zohar underpin, which translates to the lesser countenance or the small face. This is the functional body of reality. It's the face of the divine that we can actually interact with, the operational system that runs the universe. And it's comprised of these 6 dynamic forces we've just been talking about.
But here's where we hit a critical problem. We have 6 powerful, independent systems, a multi-core processor, 6 separate game worlds. But a collection of parts, no matter how sophisticated they are, doesn't equal a unified, living, conscious whole. Something is missing. A higher principle is needed to bind them all together.
And this is the central question, isn't it? Let's go back to our analogies. How does a computer with 6 cores run one single, seamless operating system? How do 6 separate game levels combine to tell one epic, coherent story? How do these 6 distinct energies, with all their tensions and balances, become a single, living consciousness?
The answer, hidden in the teaching itself, is the number 7. The secret isn't just in the 6 that were created, but in the implicit 7th principle that oversees and unifies them all. This is the key to integration. It's the key to wholeness. It's the hidden level we need to unlock.
The Vilna Gaon identifies this 7th principle as Binah, which means understanding. Binah is described as the supernal mother principle. Now, it's not just another level among the 6, it's the source from which the 6 emerge. In our tech analogy, Binah is the master orchestration layer. It's the operating system that synchronizes all 6 cores and makes them work as one. In our game analogy, Binah is the game engine itself, the underlying code that ensures all 6 worlds form a single coherent reality.
And now we arrive at that incredible moment of unification. We're about to witness the 6 distinct parts, under the guidance of the 7th, integrate into a single, complete, pulsing cosmic structure.
Just imagine what this looks like. At first you see 6 distinct streams of colored light, each one pulsing with its own identity, the white of Chesed, the red of Gevorah, and so on. They're separate, they're independent. But then a 7th, brilliant, transcendent light descends from above. This is Binah. And it doesn't erase the 6 colors, it weaves them together. What was just a schematic of 6 separate nodes, a distributed system, suddenly connects. The entire structure begins to pulse in unison, transformed into a single, complex, harmonious form. It has become a living consciousness.
You know, the Zohar has a name for this completed 6+1 structure. It calls it Diyukna Dekola, which means the blueprint of all existence. This is the master template. It's the complete architectural plan, not just for the cosmos, but for any complex, living system. A business, a community, a work of art, even a human soul. The model's always the same. 6 differentiated functional parts unified by one transcendent, meaning-giving purpose.
So, why does this ancient mystical architecture matter to us today? Because this isn't just a story about the cosmos. It's a practical guide for creation. It's a piece of systems thinking from antiquity. This blueprint is scalable. We are all creators, and this is the formula for building anything that is both complex and whole, anything that truly lives.
And this brings us to our final question, something for you to take away. Think about your life, your work, your family, your personal growth. Where do you have distinct, even opposing forces at play, like the drive for expansion and the need for discipline, or raw ambition and strategic humility? How can you identify the 6 core operational functions of your project? And most importantly, what is the 7th principle, the unifying vision, the Binah, that can orchestrate them all? Because when you find that unifying purpose and use it to harmonize those 6 differentiated forces, you are no longer just managing parts. You are creating a masterpiece. You are participating in the very act of creation itself. Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardesh. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.